person was with us, yelling, Dale! Dale, what did you do? There's shit everywhere. At which point I spring up from my sleep, and the smell of
literal
of human feces fills my nose.
So it's not just you made a mess.
Oh no,
of stuff.
And so I duck back down under the covers and hide, basically from the smell and the fury. And then while I'm hiding, think of a hotel room with 2 beds and a washroom on one side. There's a patio door on the opposite side. And my roommate is going through the hotel room saying, Dale, you shit on the walls. You shit on the floor. Dale, there's shit on the bed. He walks over across the room. There's like a little desk and a little armchair. You shit on the chair. You shit on the patio door.
It's like...
Whoosh. You shit on the patio.
It's like a Dr. Seuss book.
So at this point, I'm terrified and hiding and just hearing the results of the inspection.
It also seems like the only place that you're safe from fecal matter.
Oh, but I was wrong. It was at the foot of my bed as well. And so after not very long, we decide collectively that we need to get out of this hotel room quick.
Where was Dale?
Dale was still there. And I don't know what happened. He pooped himself and just like drunkenly wiped it with his hands everywhere and was just like moving from different spot to different spot around the hotel room and just not knowing that it was dripping and falling everywhere.
And nobody saw this.
We were all asleep.
That's terrifying.
It's awful.
I wish there was like an evening camera set up.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get up, demand that he take a shower. The rest of us forego our showers because there's still broken glass and blood and feces everywhere. And like a half-empty bottle of liquor, which must have made it seem to whomever was cleaning up that we had some weird freaking party.
I don't know. I think as soon as fecal matter is involved, you just don't call it a party anymore.
So while this individual Dale is in the shower, I open the hotel door just like check if the coast is clear.
No.
And room services, housekeeping is maybe 2 doors down.
Okay.
And I just say, guys, we need to pack up and we need to check out before we are caught. We demanded that Dale leave a very substantial tip. And then we left, checked out, and went to a Denny's and laughed about it for the next hour. Where it was just like, how did this happen? How does this happen? We will never speak of this again.
Except for right now.
Except for right now. No. Well, see, that's the thing. It was a sort of presumed that it would be an unspoken tale. It would just live and die with the 4 people there. But then maybe an hour and a half later, we went into downtown Calgary so that we could buy tweezers to remove the last bits of glass from Dale's feet.
Yeah.
In the middle of January. So he took his shoe off in downtown Calgary and it was just steaming because it was so cold out. And we pulled out the last bits of glass and he got a phone call from a mutual friend. And the first thing he said was, guess what I did? And then proceeds to tell them. We all thought that this was like, well, we don't even need to agree that we're never talking about this again.
Yeah.
We're just never talking about this
for
again.
Dale's sake.
For Dale's sake. But if Dale's going to open the can of worms, there are going to be worms everywhere. So, there's just a short epilogue to this story that has nothing to do with Denny's. That days later in Edmonton, Dale decided to get drunk again, and we needed to scold him. And the roommate who inspected the original room said that he was not allowed drinking anymore on this trip because, 1, the incident in Calgary, and 2, there was still a small spot of on his bag, on his luggage.
That's
and
a
it had
reminder.
been sitting there for days, and I hadn't noticed it, but clearly this individual had. And he was just waiting to use it as like, listen, you messed up, and there's still evidence of it.
Yeah.
It's still right here. I don't understand how you're traveling from city to city with shit on your bag.
Oh man.
So that's my Denny story.
And it's barely a Denny story, but Denny was kind of the hero of this story.
Oh yeah, Denny was our salvation. Like we needed to escape and kill sometime somewhere.
Yeah.
And Denny's was the place we went, got some Grand Slams, had some coffee, and laughed and laughed about probably the poor woman who had to clean up.
The poor woman.
And how she probably needed to take some like mental health days afterwards.
Yeah. It's just like there was no reason for it.
There was no good reason, that's for sure.
At least it wasn't out in the hall. Because I thought that
That's
was
true.
the next part of the story. You open the door and it's like, it's in the hallway.
Oh, thank
There's
goodness it wasn't.
There's like
There's a trail
there's a
leading to our room.
marking on every door.
But it was, honestly, it was everywhere in the room. It was smeared on the patio wall, a patio door.
How does anyone, how does, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Well, it's a horrifying story. And not one that I think anyone wants to associate with Denny's.
No, probably not.
No. Oh, goodness.
Now, Matthew, I've got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Why were you so tired today? We were headed to Denny's, and you were telling me how you had barely slept in the last couple of days. And you were catching up on your sleep, but I was saying, oh, it's a good thing we're going to Denny's. You could get a coffee there, that's for sure. But why have you been lacking so much sleep, Matthew?
Recently, Sebastian, it was Groundhog's Day.
That's right.
Groundhog Day, I guess. I don't know what the...
There are multiple groundhogs.
Yeah, it's not, I guess. Starting this story off on the wrong foot. I'm not talking about multiple groundhogs. I'm
It is,
talking
I
about...
suppose, possessive, isn't it? It's the Groundhog's Day.
Well, let's answer this question right now.
Okay.
There was a movie.
1992 film classic. I think it was 92.
Maybe.
Groundhog's Day.
Actually, Groundhog Day. That's
Oh,
what the
is
movie.
it? Oh.
It sounds to me like it should be called Groundhog's Day, but it was called Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray.
Okay.
And I did a Groundhog Day marathon on Groundhog Day.
What do you mean? You watched that movie?
I watched that movie all day.
It was like in slow motion?
No, I think that would be unwatchable. I watched it instead at regular speed 12 times.
Wow.
I could have fit in, I think, another 2 showings because the movie is about an hour and 40 minutes, which allows for 12 showings with 20 minutes in between.
So you could have,
I could have really just put it on loop and kept going. And if I skipped the credits, who knows, man?
And there's a certain poetry to that because it is a movie that repeats itself to a certain extent.
Yes.
So to watch it over and over again might be maddening.
Very maddening. It was. There were some people who do a podcast that I listened to, and they were doing this for charity reasons.
Okay.
And it's very hard for me to pass up an opportunity to do something
For 24 hours?
that sounds insane, like that is very little effort on my part, but that also sounds insane to other people. So it's like it's the equivalent of like jumping out of an airplane.
You get a rush out of sitting at home watching a movie a dozen times?
Well, it's a lot less work. It's like you tell somebody, what's your reaction if I tell you, Sebastian, I just jumped out of an airplane?
Whoa, tell me more.
You're shocked, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is the reaction if I say, Sebastian, I just watched Groundhog Day 12 times in a row?
I think I'm more baffled than shocked.
Midnight to midnight.
Yeah, that's more baffling than shock.
Okay. Well, either way, I get some reaction.
Both elicit the question, why?
Yeah, there we go. For the rush, man. That's why I did it. And because I hadn't seen the movie in a few years, so I decided I'm gonna
really
go
catch
along,
up on it.
and I want to be one of the people because they were streaming this. They weren't streaming the movie; you had to get your own copy of the movie.
Okay,
but they were streaming their reaction to watching it.
Okay,
for those 24 hours, and had a little text box going, so anybody who's doing it along with them can type in. It's a nice little community of people talking. We're raising some money for homelessness.
Oh, that's good.
And man, Sebastian, that movie. I want to talk a little bit about the movie and like some of the revelations I had while watching it.
Okay.
But I also want to talk about the actual event of Groundhog Day.
Yes, that's right. So you were telling me how you watched a live stream of, was it Puxatawny Phil?
Puxatawny Phil.
And
out
that is
in,
the same groundhog location used in the film.
Yes, it was over at Gobbler's Knob, Pennsylvania.
Is the place really called Gobbler's Knob?
It is called Gobbler's Knob.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania, where they house Punxsutawney Phil. And you know how how seriously they took it in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
They take it 10 times more serious in real life, it seems. And
Go on, please elaborate.
And it's a strange world, because I think I was at my most tired at around 4, 5, 6 a.m.
Okay.
At the start of this, because I hadn't slept. I was awake all day. And then when I wanted to go to sleep before I got my second wind, this is when the celebratory stream from Gobbler's Knob started up. And I'm watching this, and I'm just wondering how many people out there are watching this. Not that many. There's like, what, 3,000?
No, you showed me a screen grab.
Oh, yeah, how many?
Nearly 15,000.
Okay, 15,000.
It was 14.7K.
So there's a lot of people, but like nobody that I know personally. And it just seemed like such a small world, like a small community of people who are up before 7 in the morning who don't know about the madness that is going on in Punxsutawney.
So, I mean, if you live there, this is the biggest event of the year. Oh, yeah. The only reason anyone knows your little nothing town is because of a groundhog.
Yeah.
So make the most of it, I suppose.
Make the most of it, but it's so strange. A lot of the things that were going on were so planned out, but executed so poorly. If that makes sense. Like there's a lot of.
I'm assuming this is like 100-year tradition, if not more.
Yeah, but
so they've got rituals, but
rituals. Yeah, some things that didn't make any
cares,
sense.
so it's not done excellently well.
There's a huge crowd of people out there,
so people do care.
They're all dressed up and they look miserable. Like they're dressed up in deep winter clothing because it is the middle of winter and it's freezing.
It's 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning. They're out there, but they're wearing like groundhog toques.
Yeah.
Some of them have like groundhog signs. There was one woman who was holding up "I'm getting married at 11," and it was such a ratty poster that she had made. And it's like, what are you doing on the morning of your wedding? Like
waiting to watch a rodent get out of its hole.
It was like something from the marsupial family, I believe.
I don't think so.
I think it is.
Just a rodent.
I think it has a little more class.
Does it have a pouch?
Do you need a pouch to be from the marsupial family?
Yes.
I challenge that.
Okay. Listeners, if you can prove Matthew wrong, please do. Contact him through facebook.com/Burger Edition.
But it looked like I don't even. You saw a picture I had like screen grabbed of the crowd. Mm-hmm. What would you say their emotion was? It looked like they wanted to have fun, but they were too cold for it. And there were some beach balls being tossed around into the crowd too, and I would see them get tossed around, and then it wouldn't last very long. Someone would just
like
let
they'd
it fall.
bounce twice and then tumble down out of sight.
Yeah, no one's bending over to get it. It's too cold. When you wear jeans or pants, you don't want that material to like press against your knees when you bend. But there was musical acts. A lot of people, the people in tuxedos and top hats. One guy had a train conductor hat, and a big wooden train whistle. All right, and he just kept blowing it while the other guy was singing about the train to Gobbler's Knob. And I couldn't really understand the lyrics, and they were very poor singers. Okay. But it was just the level of enthusiasm. People dressed up as groundhogs. People in Hawaiian shirts for some reason. There was at some point someone came out. Because they're
looking forward to maybe an earlier spring.
Yeah, that makes sense. Someone came out with a T-shirt cannon at one point. There were pyrotechnics, Sebastian, before 7 in the morning. There were pyrotechnics. There were flames being blown around. Fireworks in the skies.
Now, what I'm wondering is all of this just to wake up the damn groundhog? It's like, sure we've been here for hours. Let's shoot off the fireworks because that little rat isn't up yet.
Yeah. Well, this brings me to the other. I want to read to you. I was doing some research because when I was hearing, like, as soon as all the celebratory stuff was done and the people from the inner circle, like the groundhog inner circle came, like the members, they're the old men in the tuxedos and top hats. Okay. When they show up, people get deadly silent. It gets a certain like seriousness to the day. It's a very like old,
a somber
feeling.
tone.
Yeah, and it is super creepy. It's very cultish, and the stuff that's going on and the names they have for each other, like they're all referred to by their, by I guess what their job is on stage. A lot of them escape me. I know that one of them was called the Stump Warden. And I think he was just the one in charge of like the stump. What
does that mean?
Because there's a big tree stump that Punxsutawney Phil is like sleeping in, and then they also put him on the stump and examine him to make sure he's still worthy of telling the weather, I
Yeah,
guess. I don't know.
yes,
It's
I
like
don't
you get
know.
a bunch of old men examining this rodent on top of a tree stump, and